Have you ever felt like the world just doesn't see you for who you really are? Today, I want to share a story that will make you rethink every first impression you've ever had. It's a story about hidden talents, second chances, and the incredible power of not judging a book by its cover. Our story begins with James, a young man with a brilliant mind for programming. He was at the top of his class at a prestigious university, his future shining bright. But then, tragedy struck. In one devastating moment, a car crash took both of his parents, leaving him heartbroken and alone. The weight of his grief and the sudden financial burden forced him to drop out of college. His dreams of becoming a world-class programmer were put on hold, seemingly forever. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs. To make ends meet, James took a job that was worlds away from his passion. He became a personal driver, his employer, none other than Isabella, the young, sharp, and incredibly successful CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech empire. Isabella was a force of nature in the boardroom, known for her ambition and her no-nonsense attitude. To her, James was just a man who opened her car door and got her from point A to point B. She never once thought to ask about his past or his dreams. He was just a part of the background of her fast-paced life. For months, James drove Isabella to high-stakes meetings, listening silently from the driver's seat as she discussed complex deals and corporate strategies. He heard about her triumphs and her frustrations. He learned the inner workings of her company, not from a textbook, but from the front lines of her daily battles. He was a silent observer, a ghost in the machine of her corporate world, his own genius hidden beneath a simple driver's uniform. One afternoon, the atmosphere in the car was unusually tense. Isabella was on a frantic phone call, her voice strained with panic. James couldn't help but overhear the details of the crisis unfolding. A rival company had launched a sophisticated cyber attack, targeting the core of her company's new flagship software, set to launch in just a few days. The attack had created a critical vulnerability, a backdoor, that, if exploited, could not only sabotage the launch, but also compromise the data of millions of users. The financial fallout was estimated to be a staggering $20 billion. Her top engineers, the best in the industry, were stumped. They had been working around the clock, but couldn't find a solution. The company was on the brink of a catastrophe. After the call ended, an unnerving silence filled the car. James could feel Isabella's desperation. He had spent countless nights in his small apartment, keeping his skills sharp, solving complex coding puzzles for fun, and dreaming of the life he had lost. As he listened to her problem, the solution began to form in his mind. He saw the flaw in the code, the elegant fix that everyone else was missing. Taking a deep breath, he looked at her in the rearview mirror. "Miss Isabella," he began, his voice steady but respectful. "I apologize for overhearing, but I think I might be able to help with your problem." Isabella turned, a look of sheer disbelief on her face. "You? Help?" She scoffed, not unkindly, but with the dismissive air of someone who couldn't fathom the idea. "James, with all due respect, this is a highly complex cybersecurity issue. My entire team of world-renowned experts is struggling. What could you possibly do?" The sting of her words was sharp, but James held his ground. "I studied computer science before I had to leave school," he explained calmly. "I specialize in this exact type of algorithmic problem. I see the pattern they're missing. Please, just give me a chance. What do you have to lose?" Isabella was about to dismiss him again, but something in his eyes, a quiet confidence, a spark of intelligence she had never noticed before, made her pause. She was desperate. The clock was ticking, and her experts had hit a wall, against her better judgment, against every instinct that told her this was a waste of time. She finally sighed and said, "Fine, you have 1 hour. Come with me." She led him into the company's war room. The air was thick with tension. The room was filled with exhausted engineers staring at screens of scrolling code. When Isabella walked in with her driver, they all looked up in confusion. Whispers rippled through the room. "Is that her driver? What is he doing here?" The lead engineer, a man with decades of experience, looked at James with open contempt. Isabella ignored them. "This is James," she announced. "Okay. He thinks he can help. Show him the problem." The lead engineer reluctantly pointed to the main screen, explaining the attack in highly technical jargon, almost as if to test or intimidate James. But James wasn't intimidated. He walked straight to the screen, his eyes scanning the lines of code. The room fell silent as they watched him. He wasn't just looking. He was seeing, saw the elegant, malicious logic of the attack, but he also saw its weakness. His fingers flew across the keyboard, typing with a speed and precision that stunned everyone. The T wasn't just guessing. He was surgically dissecting the problem, rewriting portions of the code, and building a digital fortress around the vulnerability. The engineers who had scoffed just moments before now watched in awe. Their contempt turned into disbelief, and then into pure admiration. He was like a master composer creating a symphony out of chaos. In less than 45 minutes, he stopped typing. He turned to the lead engineer. "Run the diagnostic again," he said simply. The engineer, humbled, initiated the program. They all held their breath as the system checked for vulnerabilities. And then a message flashed on the screen. "System secure. All threats neutralized." A wave of relief and applause erupted in the room. They had done it, or rather, he had done it. Isabella stared at James, seeing him for the very first time. He wasn't just her driver. He was a genius, a savior who had just saved her company from ruin. That day, everything changed. James was immediately offered a senior position in the company, leading a new cybersecurity division. He was finally able to use his incredible gift to live the dream he thought he had lost forever. He and Isabella developed a deep respect for one another, which blossomed into a powerful partnership. James's story is a powerful reminder that a person's worth is not defined by their job title, their uniform, or their circumstances. True talent and brilliance can be found in the most unexpected places. It teaches us to look beyond the surface, to give people a chance, and to never, ever judge a book by its cover. Because sometimes the person you least expect is the one who will change everything. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and share your own "Do One Judge a Book by Its Cover" moments in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. See you in the next video.